Passing out the medicines. We've been on that rock star regimen, knowing that I'm heaven sent, higher than I ever been. I got a problem with.
What's going on? This is Totally Blitzed podcast. I'm Paul Pickawin. I'm conscious of the man with the big beard and making even bigger bets. And as always, I'm joined by the man to my right.
Come on, man. You already know it's everybody's favorite Falcons fan. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Kev, Waterboy Support, a.k.a. Lil KK, a.k.a. Don PYE, a.k.a. the nigga that watched his team lose this week, because this was supposed to be a really important game, and I thought we were just going to beat the 49ers. And if we had beat the 49ers, I would have been like, you know what? It doesn't matter if we got to play the Bills in 2 weeks. We're going to still go to the playoffs. Nah. Yeah, but we've had a great season so far, and I just continue to get more dubs and have more fun this season. But hey, week 15, Powell, this shit was litty lit. This was the first time this is for me personally, this is the first time I've ever had like a full weekend of NFL football. Usually it's like high school football on Friday, college football Saturday, Sunday, Monday football, normal football. But like this week it was Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And I was like, I mean, that's kind of COVID. We're not happy for COVID. But I'm just saying, I got a whole week of football while I was in LA. I was chilling. I was in the hotel watching football. Shit was beautiful.
Yeah, and I think even next week we get a Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So like we get a back-to-back of four or 5 weeks worth of football.
It's hurtful because they chose to do this the year I got a podcast. Because usually I watch basketball on Sundays on Christmas, but
oh yeah, I forgot. We're gonna have a Christmas football. I don't know how often that happens, but
that's interesting. It's interesting, but like, hey man, we'll be watching football, man. I'm tapping to the basketball games. Probably have those on the cut. I'm about to see. I would love to see Aaron Rodgers get that 440, blah blah blah, on the motherfucking Browns real quick. Christmas Day specialty.
Hey, I could see it, and especially since his name is kind of being whispered about MVP, but I feel like he don't think it's being talked about loud enough. So
yeah,
he's on this like fuck you kind of tour about like, oh, y'all don't like me, who cares? My numbers are gonna speak for itself.
Facts. They don't want to say nothing, but we know who the MVP is. We know.
But with these games this weekend being all over the place, it was fun, but it was almost like you forgot who played when and shit like that, because you're just used to Sunday and Monday, and like I was like, fuck, who plays Tuesday? Who the fuck is playing Monday?
That shit was interesting. I wouldn't want that like every week, but it was fun to have a whole weekend of football. I think it was just because I was out of town. I couldn't really do too much because of COVID. So I just had fun. I took so much fucking notes. That's how much football I watched. Like I took so many fucking notes. This isn't even my notebook. I wasn't even bring my notebook to take notes. But like, what else was I gonna do in the hotel?
No, I feel you. Well, use those. Let's take those notes and put them to work.
Come on, bro. Hey, look, and I'm not gonna use it. I'll tell you.
We have the Saturday game, the only game that happened Saturday. This was big for the AFC seed. You had the number one Patriots at the time going up against the Colts. Colts won 27-17. But what happened in this game?
Bro, this shit was interesting because motherfucking, I think the Colts just were clicking all over because they scored. I don't know. I didn't check Carson Wentz's numbers like that, but they definitely scored. They scored immediately off the run, but it wasn't off of Jonathan Taylor run. It was off of, I don't know the other dude's name, but
was it Himes?
But people sleep on. I learned that Saturday that Jonathan Taylor can block like a motherfucker. Like this motherfucker got some blocking skills. He caught a block on that touchdown, and he caught another block. I was like, oh, that boy working on balls. Then they got the punt. Then they blocked the punt. Got the block punt. And then after that, it was all defense. Darius Leonard, I don't know how to say his last name. They got athletic ass picks. D-line forced the fumble. DL forced the fumble. Yeah, he was all over, man. And Mike Jones struggled early, but like he picked it up and got hot a little bit. He threw 2 touchdowns to Hunter Henry. But this game was really kind of like it wasn't like, I don't know, like the Colts, they tried to make a comeback late and everything like that, but once JT got that 29, 67-yard run to call game, it was a wrap. And it was just like, it was just like a strong, hard-fought game, and the Colts were just clicking on all three phases. So that's how they got the Patriots the best of the system this week.
Yeah, no, and the only thing that I knew from the game was I saw that Jonathan Taylor broke that long 69-yard touchdown run to basically, like you said, seal it. And to me, though, this was just like, hey, the Colts have kind of played some tough teams. They haven't looked like no bitches this last second half of the season. And they're setting up real nice for this playoff run because they're looking like they could beat any team on any given Sunday or any given Monday, whatever day you want to go, or Saturday even. But like this, I mean, I said this might be the second best team in the AFC at the beginning of the year. I still stick by it because I just think this team, with the way their defense plays, their run game, and the Carson Wentz doesn't play and make mistakes, they could beat anybody.
No, definitely. In the way, I think the O-line doesn't get enough credit because their O-line be holding up. Like, they only gave up 1 sack this game, and they made these big-ass holes for Jonathan Taylor to break. So, like, they're just, like, everybody's playing their roles very, very well, and that's what you want at the end of the day. Like, you can't really beat that. Like, everybody's just doing what they're supposed to do. Like, they're running all over offense. They're getting takeaways, and they're blocking punts. Like, what else could you ask for a fucking football team?
Oh, facts. That was the only game we had for Saturday. Let's jump on to Sunday. This is the first game that's on my list. I didn't do it for any particular reason, but I guess I gotta bang my drum early. We had the Miami Dolphins beating the New York dirty stinking Jets in Miami. I was in attendance. I was watching it. We won 31-24. Real quick, I know Tua threw a pick six when it was 24-17, and he throws the pick six, and now it's tied up 24-24. And everyone wants to talk bad about that and all that stuff. But my big thing is, like, he showed Tua gets the unnecessary hate. And I guess it is necessary. He did throw a pick six, just like Dak Prescott did in the last 4 or 5 minutes of that one game. But I just think Tua showed the poise to then come back out with basically run a 2-minute drill and then score another touchdown to end the game. And Duke Johnson, you remember Duke Johnson, University of Miami running back. He's now our starting running back. Well, he started this week. He's our first running back to go for over 100 yards all season. So hopefully him moving forward, if he continues playing like this, I think he's going to be no running back on the Dolphins has really secured a number one back role. Him putting up 100 yards on his first start, I mean, it kind of put him in prime position to be our number one back moving forward.
Hey, I respected this game. I didn't really take too much away from this because you was at the game, so I was like, there's nothing for me to watch it. These are my teams. But motherfucking, I respect the D-line. The D-line, they got like 6 sacks, and one of their D-linemen scored a fucking touchdown. Chris Wilson, like 300 pounds?
300. He's big boy. And he did the worm right afterwards.
That shit was scary. Like, I saw that shit, and I was like, who the fuck is number 94? But that's motherfucking, that boy caught that bitch. And Tua's accurate. I'm not gonna hold you. The only time I ever hear about Tua hate is like when I'm on the podcast. Like when you tell me that people hate on Tua. I feel like people just don't know how to. The people that speak on Tua don't really speak well on football in general. Like, so like I don't really listen to a lot of people unless it's coming from like Peyton Manning and Nate Orlovsky. And not just because they speak well on dude. It's just they speak fair on dude. Like he's not the best. He's a smart quarterback. He's accurate. He probably needs to limit his turnovers a little bit since he's not a big play type of quarterback. So when you do, and he's not just checkdowns either. He's just not a crazy over every 6 or 8 downs type of quarterback. So like when you do that, you probably gotta limit your turnovers a little bit just to keep it. But as long as y'all shooting, y'all defense is playing the way it is, he's managing the game, and he's consistently scoring like 200 and 300 yards. I never heard of Tua really throwing for like 150 something. So I respect our boys. That was a good team. Went through our boys. Y'all in the playoff hunt for real. But the AFC playoffs is crazy.
Yeah, and there's also little things that I'm really liking about this team that like it don't show on the stats. Like Devontae Parker's little 8-10 yard touchdown slant. That wasn't the original play call. Like Tua comes up and he notices the defensive coverage. He waves over to Parker, gives him a signal. And Parker like responds like giving a signal back to Tua, basically saying like, I understand, like I'm like, he changes the play and they're getting on a page together, and that's little things like that I like to see from this team.
Yeah, definitely. Boys. And like I didn't like how niggas in the group chat was talking shit, and it was cool, but like you guys did miss like pretty much all your skill players. So I was just sitting there like, when they pull this off, they pull this off.
Yeah. It is still, like Alex said, even he can hate all he wants, but us winning 7 in a row is still pretty big feat. The comeback is kind of crazy, even if you want to hate. But another game that was kind of wishy-washy like that game, because like the Dolphins were winning majority of the whole game, except for the early, we're down 10-0, 17-7. Then it was just all Dolphins after that. But we had the Cowboys kind of blowing out the Giants. The Giants only got 2 field goals the whole game, 21-6. I know DeMarcus Lawrence had himself a day. I know their defensive line was balling, but hey, that's what you come to expect now out of the Cowboys is the offensive line and the defensive line.
I respect it. I didn't really pay too much attention to this game because like Daniel Jones, they shut that boy down for the rest of the season. So I don't really expect much from the Giants. I was hoping the Giants could have done some divisional magic and did that because I was rooting for the Giants. But like at the end of the day, it's the Cowboys. Jerry Jones gonna do what he does, and like them boys is Trayvon Diggs has 10 picks this season. Like that's a lot, and I wonder if he can how that's gonna translate to his game next season because it's not just about getting picks. But when you know that a quarterback has to think twice about throwing it your way in certain coverages, that's a very strong defense because he does get beat sometimes. But like at the end of the day, like when he gets all that together, like there's gonna be rookie playing like this. He's gonna be one of the top corners in the league for.
Yeah, and he's still so young.
So good. But like I respect it. Like the Cowboys, you just gotta go into the playoffs. Let's see who they play. That's all I look at the Cowboys right now.
Yeah, and the Cowboys
have done for like the last couple of weeks, like maybe the last 5 or 6 weeks, truthfully.
And I believe the Cowboys win their next game, they'll clinch up their division, which should be easy with the way that they already have 10 wins, and the next closest team is 6 or 7.
No cap.
This game was another one that was kind of, I didn't personally watch it. I thought it was an ugly game. You had the Bills and the Panthers. This is a game where I already kind of knew the Bills were going to win. It was just by how much. 31-24. Not 24, 31-14.
I mean, this game was funny to me because the Panthers kicker got hurt and during warm up, so they literally having a tryout to see who could kick the ball. And as you can see, I'm pretty sure they had to go for 2 when they had to go for 2 on their touchdown. So they couldn't figure that out. But this is just a game that's like, okay, the Panthers aren't a playoff team. We know this. So what are they going to do next season? Is Cam Newton going to come back? He scored 2 touchdowns, and he scored in every game. So he's a red zone threat, and like you don't have any other threats, especially when Christian McCaffrey hurt. So it wouldn't make much sense to drop Cam like a bad habit or something. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't make sense to drop Cam like a bad habit. But what are you gonna do about your coach and Matt Rule and all that?
Yeah, Matt Rule definitely is on the hot seat. I could see him getting rid of Cam, but at the same time, Cam, if you're business-wise, is going to bring in tickets. Even if you are going to be a losing organization for a year or two, at least having Cam at the helm will sell out seats for y'all, sell jerseys.
Definitely. And, like, this was more of a Bills game. This showed that if the Bills play against the playoffs, they can definitely be a great. They'll definitely be a force to be reckoned with when it comes to playoff time because the D-line got 4 sacks. And the secondary got a pick. And now remember, they still missing Tre'Davious White, who's out for the season. And motherfucker, Josh Allen, even though I'm not all the way about Josh Allen, I'm not all the way sure like what's his fit when it comes to the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. He definitely had a great game though. 2 times and 3 touchdowns, and your defense is putting you in a great position, so you just kind of just capitalize. So like it's interesting. This was a good game. This game asked the questions about what these 2 teams are going to do in the future. And like, let's see where they take it. Because I want to see what the Bills Mafia is. I've been watching these Bills Mafia documentaries, and them motherfuckers are crazy.
Yeah, we'll see. I just hope I need the Bills to lose one more game because if we end up having a tiebreaker with them, they beating us twice. So I need them to lose one more game and us win out. So, but this next game, this one is probably the craziest game of the weekend. No one saw it coming. The Lions get their second win. They win 30-12. They beat Kyler Murray and them boys. Like I said, no one saw this coming. I don't know anyone. I didn't see no crazy bets online about some random guy taking the Lions to win. Wow.
I don't know, man. My dog, Bomb Trady, I feel like he was on that. That boy be on the Lions every week, but I don't know. That's just somebody. That's just somebody I know. That's just somebody I know. I gotta highlight it. That boy be with the Lions every week. But no, this was a great game. First off, Jared Goff found some drip. He don't got sauce, but he did find a little bit of drip this week. I want to say his numbers weren't bad.
He did throw 3 touchdowns.
And they were all pretty nice touchdowns. So it wasn't like some bullshit. Like, he really had to spread the needle a little bit. So the Lions look fucking good. Like, the Lions good. This pissed off. I feel like this pissed off a lot of people, and that's what certain games do. Don't you guys call these parlay busters or something like that?
Yeah. These are this is the team that you throw in the parlay. Or at least you throw the Cardinals into a parlay because you're like, oh, they're going to win no matter what. And then all of a sudden, bam. Fucking the unprecedented happens.
I respect it. I like the Lions. They looked really, 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 really inspired this week. They look like they don't give a fuck that they've only got one win. We're gonna come and play our hardest every week, and that's what they've been doing. They've been doing these last couple of weeks. So respect, shout out them boys. Shout out to Monty. That boy got a mean ass pick and almost took that bitch back to the end zone.
He has like 5 or 6 picks right now. I know he's eating.
Probably like second or third or something like that. I don't know if people that have. Trayvon Diggs is running away with it, but like I want to say there's like a 3-way. I think he's tied with somebody like a second, third, or fourth. I gotta check. But the defense just got a lot of stops. They got stops in the red zone. They got stops in the red zone too. So like the defense showed up, man. They looked really inspired this week. MTDC was telling the boys in locker room, that's how we fucking play. Like, that's some good shit, man. I was happy for the boys. And like, I think the Pro Bowl selection came out today. I gotta check to see if that boy Monty made it. But like, if it wasn't for AJ Terrell, that's what I would have voted for.
Oh yeah, no, I gave him a vote, especially because I like Twitter. All you gotta do is retweet it, and they votes for you. Mm-hmm. It's pretty dope.
But if AJ Terrell don't make it, we rioted. Like, we don't have a problem.
Oh yeah, that's like Xavier Howard for me. I'm like, I know he's gonna make a Pro Bowl. Like, I'm gonna vote him still, but hey, that boy making the Pro Bowl. The next game. Well, I mean, is there any big takeaways? Like, are you? The Cardinals. I mean, they were 9-1, and now I don't know, were they 8-1? I can't remember. I just remember they were 7-0 at one point.
Niggas be losing, man. Niggas be losing. It happens, but like, motherfucking, it's gonna be. There's like, I don't think this game was just a blip on the schedule. Like, there's just those games that happen. Probably when they just didn't come out and play as well as they could. Jared Goff and the boys came out firing all cylinders. Like, it just happens. This is the National Football League. Shit like this happens all the time. I don't think this really has any long impacts, long effects. The Lions might not have the first pick. I think that's the biggest takeaway from this game. But besides for that, I don't think any of this is going to linger on the next week.
Yeah, well, Jared Goff is now 7-1, I believe, or 8-1 against the Cardinals. He owns the Cardinals when they played before, since back on the Rams. Then we have the Steelers, who beat the Titans after the Titans. I did see this. The Titans were dancing, or at least standing, on the Steelers logo before the game started. And just like the week before, when I think the Raiders did it to the Chiefs, and then the Chiefs blew out the Raiders, it's just like, have y'all not learned yet that like standing on the logo before halftime, before the game starts, it usually inspires the other team a little bit more?
It's funny because like these niggas, they got Juju on the other side. Juju, like, that was a big deal for a while. So like, I don't know, it just never turns out well. I don't know if this is something, somebody made it seem like this is something they've done before or something like that. It just doesn't always turn out well for the next for the team. And it's just like, I don't even think that shit matters for real. Like the only time I seen that shit when it actually mattered was when T.O. did it. That boy T.O. scored a touchdown and he broke. And then motherfucker, he did the thing on the Dallas Cowboy cow. I don't know, Dallas Cowboy star. Then I want to say Emmitt Smith scored a touchdown. He did it to talk shit to T.O. And then motherfucking T.O. did it again and somebody hit his ass. I think that was the only time that shit actually mattered. Besides for that, it's like, it's just something that's disrespect is disrespect. Because the Titans are one, I bet you nobody would be bringing this shit up as much as they did.
Oh yeah, but I think it's a little bit more than that. I think it's like I said, it lights a fire a little bit more because like the Steelers and the Titans, they have no rivalry. They don't give a fuck about each other. It's just another game on the schedule. It's not like the Ravens. It's not like the Bengals or the Browns. But then now you giving them something to not like you. Like you just basically smack them in their mouth, and you're like you basically like do something. So yeah, like Tomlin's going in that locker room. Like, did you see what the Titans did? Y'all gonna let him come to Heinz Field in front of everybody, do all that? Like, I think it lights a fire, especially with Big Ben, who's a vet, who's been in there since the early 2000s, where you could actually like hurt people. Like, it kind of inspires them to play a little harder if they weren't.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you have that point because at the end of the game, you saw Mike Tomlin blow the kiss. You saw him blow the kiss, so maybe that's they probably had a lot of stuff like that going on. Yeah, it goes back and forth. It goes either way with it.
And then this next game, I really thought the Jags would come out and basically ball out now that Urban's gone. But the Texans has had something else to say about that. They put up a 30 burger, won 30-16 in Jacksonville. Two of their 3 wins come from the hands of the Jags.
Hey, hold on. We could go back to that game though, because like all we did was talk about the dancing. Oh. That game was low key good as fuck.
Oh yeah, you could just talk about it.
Yeah, we could definitely. Yeah, what's it called? Yeah, but that game was low key good as fuck though. That shit was a dogfight the entire game because it was Ryan Tannehill ain't throw no touchdowns. And Najee Harris did not go off. Yeah, Najee Harris didn't get off like that. The defense was going crazy. TJ Watt, Mika Fitzpatrick and company, they came to play. Niggas 4 sacks, 4 turnovers. Them boys wasn't fucking off even slightly the entire game. You got motherfucking. I'm not gonna bring up what Joe Hayden did yet. But motherfucker, you got motherfucking Big Ben out here getting quarterback sneaks. That's what had me shit because they knew the running game was kind of like getting stopped because the Titans front 7 was came to play. But at the end of the day, motherfucker, when I seen them go for the first quarterback sneak with Big Ben, I was like, interesting. But it was when they went for the second one in a row. I was like, is he gonna get that shit? Boom. I'm just saying, like, I can call Big Ben an immobile quarterback all I want, but at the end of the day, the nigga can score motherfucking. If the individual can score fucking rushing touchdowns, we don't mean shit because that's all the quarterback you need from a quarterback at the end of the day. You need to get that one yard, that touchdown at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
So that shit was clean, but motherfucking, I want to get to the last play because the last play was confusing. Motherfucker, you had Joe Hayden ass. First off, Joe Hayden ass posted on the fucking on Twitter like, yeah, I lift weights. He had the game-saving touchdown. He had the game-saving tackle, but like I saw that shit like live. I was like, yeah, that shit's short. But the ref put that bitch in the wrong ass spot. So instead of calling for a review, motherfuckers called for the measurement. But while they were measuring, everybody in the world was seeing the review, and everybody in the world could see that ball was short. But they put the measurement on there, and they was like, so when they put the measure down, Brave was looking like, bro, it says a touchdown, it says a first down, obviously it's a first down, and then they go like, oh well, it does look like the first down, but the game is over. It says what's it called? Actually, motherfucking, the ball was actually spotted wrong. Everybody's seen the replay. And I guess, I don't know if New York is in your year or something like that. But
it probably would have been New York because they're the only ones that have that power to, like, they'll call in and do a quick, like,
But even while they were measuring, they called I feel like I saw a ref doing I saw a ref checking what's that shit called? Checking the replay too as well. But like, it was funny because the ball hasn't moved yet. They didn't move the ball from the spot, but they called the game over. Like, yeah, game's over. Like, Joe Hayden. And then shout out to them boys. They got that last play. That shit was confusing. And it was short. Joe Hayden definitely got the stop of the game. But it was lit. TJ Watt is a monster. Bro has the single season. First off, I don't like how people just keep throwing out single season records like this because there's one extra game. So there's gonna be the numbers are gonna be skewed a little bit. But people they talk about TJ Watt scoring 17 sacks, but he's missed like 2 games, and there are 2 other games he's only played 1 quarter.
Yeah.
And he has 17 sacks. This man's a fucking animal. This man's worth every penny.
Yeah, whenever the sack percentage or something is something to look that like tells the tape a little bit more because it does adjust for how many games you played, like how many snaps, your percentage of snaps you actually got a sack on. Versus, like you said, I don't like how they're showing stats as like Ball is gonna break the Cooper Kupp's on pace to break the record for yards, but it's
that's a little different. That
one it can be argued. But
it's when like they bring up like Jalen Hurts is the leading rusher, the first ever is the leading rushing and touchdowns of a quarterback. I was just like, just say he's the first ever quarterback to rush for 10 touchdowns with the Eagles, like. Just say that. You don't gotta be trying to make it astronomical like he's gonna be in a history book forever. Just say what the fuck he did. That's a great accomplishment.
Yeah. But I also think this is how people probably felt in like 1985 or whenever they added that 16th games. Like when OJ was running for like 2,000 yards in 14 games, and then all of a sudden people were doing it in 16 games, and old heads were saying shit like, bro, OJ did it in 14. Like, y'all don't understand. Like, and so like I see it's gonna be kind of similar to us because I do think they're gonna add an extra game also. They might take away a preseason game and add an extra game, do some crazy shit. They're making so much money with this extra game and the extra playoff spots, making shit so much more exciting. So we'll see as it goes. But my not big takeaway, but one thing that I noted was this is Tannehill's 3rd game in a row of under 200 yards.
Roughly no touchdowns in his last. I think he like has.
He didn't throw. He didn't throw. The game before he had 191 yards, 0 touchdowns, and that was against the Jags. The game before that, he played the Patriots. He had 93 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The game before that, he did have 300 yards, but he threw 4 interceptions to 1 touchdown against the Texans. So and I know this game, the running back at least had 100 and something yards. Foreman, like he actually did pretty well. I think he had 110 yards. So it's not even like, 108 yards on 22 carries, and then the other running back 50 yards on 9 carries. So they're pretty efficient on the ground, 200 yards as a team. And but Tannehill, ever since Derrick Henry's been out, I know AJ Brown's been out, Julio's been hurt. I think A.J. Brown just came back from IR. He'll play next week. And Julio is first week in practice without injury designation. So hopefully he can get his shit together with the playoffs coming around. But you can't be throwing less than 200 yards 3 games in a row.
I'm not going to hold you. Like, when it comes to that offense, I think that's like most times it's pretty fair. But that's pretty fair for him because, like, I never looked at him as a Pro Bowl quarterback, a Pro Bowl this, a Pro Bowl. I never thought he was like a top 10 quarterback or anything like that. It was just like, and he's just a solid person at the job he was doing. He was making the plays, he was managing, and he had all these weapons around him. Because I feel like he doesn't have a solid like second thing. He can't really rush, get out of there like Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray and stuff like that. And their O-line's giving up like 41 sacks this season. That's almost like, it's probably like what? 28th, like, I don't know, it's a fucking lot. But motherfucking, so like they've taken a lot of hits on injury, and I don't think he's a quarterback that's built to adapt like that. I think he's kind of set to have a job, and that's his job, and he does it. So when all those injuries came around, if you were an elite quarterback, which I'm not saying that I'm not saying that you're like when the Aaron Rodgers and the other people of the world, they have to be like, they'll be able to adapt to any situation. I don't think he came there for that, and I don't think they expected that from him. So now it's just kind of like, all right, just survive. We almost took, because at the end of the day, if they had won that game, they would have been number 1 in the AFC. So like, let's just survive and let's make it to the playoffs and let's get this game plan out. But my thing is, are they going to be able to figure this out in time? Because Julio Jones got hurt again in the second towards this game. AJ Brown's coming back, but at the end of the day, you never know. So are you going to be able to figure this out in playoff time? And like, because Vrabel is the toughest quarter, it's one of the toughest coaches in the league, in my opinion. And like, and I don't know nothing about coaches in the league, but he's pretty fucking tough
Yeah.
just from how he carries himself. Motherfucking, are they gonna be able to figure this out in time? I think that's the biggest question because their defense is there. The defense can keep them in the games, and they can still get the running game off, even though they don't have their running back, their guy. They can still get it off in a way to make it effective. So it's like, are they gonna figure out the passing game? Because that's gonna be what leads them to a deep run in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, because this is definitely a down year because, I mean, he already has 14 interceptions this year alone, and he has 13 combined of his previous 2 years with the Titans. So he had 7 last year and 6 the year before. So 14 this year is an insane amount. He completely doubled what he's done the last 2 years. Touchdown-wise, last year, 33-7 on the interception touchdown. So then, this year, 14-14. So he's nowhere near as efficient as he was last year for him. And he had both years as a starting quarterback for the Titans. He had an over 105 QB rating this year, way into the 80s. So it's every statistic for him this year is down. Average pass yardage was 8 yards. Now it's 6.8. It's just everything with him this year has been pretty bad. I've never thought him to be a top 10 quarterback, but I know from at least in numbers wise, because in fantasy football, name don't matter. It's all about numbers. He's typically a top 10 quarterback just because of he'll sneakily get some QB sneaks and shit, but he'll never make turnovers. Whereas this year he's already has 14, which is unheard of for him.
It's tough. He's being rushed. He doesn't have any of his weapons. And I just don't think he was built. I feel like he got hired. He got hired to do a job, but the whole building's kind of falling down right now. So they got to kind of patch the building back up, let everybody come back healthy, and then let's see, because the defense is still there. That's my coolest thing about them. Their defense is because they would be number one in the AFC if they had stopped. If they could have scored on that last drive.
Yeah.
But we'll see. What's the next thing we want to talk about?
We have the Bengals winning in Denver 15-10. This was big for the AFC playoffs. Both teams came in, I believe, 7-7 or 7-6, 7-7.
I respect that. Pray for Teddy Bridgewater, because that shit was a nasty fall. The bro went into the air and then he kind of fell right on his head, and then he got taken to the hospital. He was there overnight. And they said he got released, so that's good. Last time I checked, he was in concussion protocol. But that was nasty. You got to pray for them boys. Football is not a football. This is what makes you, things like that always make me respect those players so much because they put their bodies on the line every fucking week. And they don't do it. They don't do it just for a paycheck. They do it because that's what they love. That's everything. That's all they know. So I respect them. I respect it. Always seeing some crazy shit like that makes me always have a not newfound respect, but reminds me of that. Yo, this isn't just entertainment. This is genuine. If this was the 1600s, these motherfuckers would be on that field with not 1600s, the 8th century and back then with the Romans and shit. These would be the niggas that are the gladiators fighting the lions and shit. These athletes are serious.
Yeah, no, these are the premier athletes.
Definitely. But motherfucking, the game was slow. The game was slow and it was very close. It was 3-3 in the first half. And the Broncos missed it was 6-3 in the first half. The Broncos missed a field goal to take to go 6-3, to go up 6-3. And then the Bengals made 1-2 throws, and Evan McPherson kicked out their 3. So they went up 6-3. So they went to the half with some momentum. But Joey B just don't give a fuck. That touchdown, the boy for 56 yards, that shit was crazy. And Trey I'll come back to that one. But motherfucking, this team just kind of is going to string along W's. They're number one in the AFC right now. So I'm liking the Bengals, not AFC, the number one in the AFC North. So motherfucker, yeah. I'm liking the Bengals. I'm liking Joey B and the boys real quick. They're always pulling up something. They always going to pull something together. So their defense can keep them in that game. They're going to pull something together to get that done, definitely.
Yeah, I know both of these teams defenses tried as hard as they could to keep their offense in this game. And all it took was I think Drew Lock threw a touchdown late in the game. But the Bengals came to play. I don't know what Joe Burrow did, but he had that one beautiful play to Boyd. But Jamar Chase didn't do much this game. And I know from There's a funny thing with someone who I had. This was fantasy football's playoffs week, and it's like you lose, you're out, and you win, you move on. And someone I knew had Jamar Chase, and all they needed was like 5 points from him to win, and that's just like 2 catches for 30 yards. That's nothing. But Jamar Chase only got 1 catch for 3 yards this whole game, and that person is out of the playoffs just like that.
Oh, and that nigga, the dude definitely scored 2 touchdowns last game.
Yeah, like it was one of those situations where you're going to sleep like, oh, that's all I need. Oh, I don't even have to worry about it. And then you check, you're like, he only got me 1 point. What the fuck? Like, he's never done that all season.
I'm dead. That's tough. But motherfucking, to be like that, but that's why I'm playing fantasy. I'm not big, especially because that game was on 4. That game was at 4 o'clock. So like, you kind of knew your team is done by 4. That's kind of tough. Motherfucking. But I respect them boys to the fullest for that game right there. And Jamar Chase, I feel like he might have probably just got guarded. And that's the thing about Joey. You're going to find somebody else to go to. And I want to see Joe Mixon them boys start using Joe Mixon going crazy again with Joe Mixon. But I hate short games that don't have no runs, that don't have no crazy run game. Like, if you're going to dogfight that, you got to make them work down low. That's just me.
Yeah, I just think personally, because I saw a Twitter thread that was debating Jamar Chase versus Justin Jefferson's rookie years, and I'd lean towards Justin Jefferson, and like one of the people I saw that had a good argument that helped me lean that way because the numbers are very, very close. At least early on this season, the numbers are very close because Jamar Chase came out like fucking fire the first 5 weeks, and basically they're just saying Jamar Chase is an outstanding athlete, but like Justin Jefferson rookie season was catching shit from like the slants to the medium routes to the deep routes, whereas Jamar Chase, he makes like a big highlight play, a big 60-70 yard touchdown, but then he might not do anything for like 2 more quarters of the game. And I was like, that's a fair point. I'm like, that's pretty fair. Like Justin Jefferson is like there's like Jamar Chase, he has more of this highlight bottled up in him. Well, it doesn't mean he can't do all those other plays. It's just the way they've been using them. And then Justin Jefferson was just like this wide receiver number 1 since the jump.
I respect it, and he's doing that with I feel on the same team. But
yeah,
I like that's a great point because their numbers probably are similar. But if you look at the situations, it's not because Jamar Chase doesn't have to deal with Thielen on the other side, and Joey B was your quarterback. Like you guys are probably just sitting there waiting. Like when you saw it, it's like when LeBron, it's like seeing your friends from high school. I forgot what LeBron said. It's like when you go to the first day, you see your homeboys in class already, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, you're like,
I feel like that explains that first like 5 weeks them going crazy like that. And I feel like a lot of defenses weren't ready for the athletic freaking nature that he is, because that boy's a monster. But when it comes to Justin Jefferson, he was doing all that, and then like Justin Jefferson, I don't know what round pick he got picked on, but he a little slept on. You know what I'm saying?
I want to say he was somewhere from like 14th to 20, like in that little.
Yeah, I want to say he was slept on because he just came off of that season. But like, if you know Justin Jefferson, he kind of got the pick. He says that he got his I want to say LSU was one of his only offers for real, just because his family comes from LSU. I gotta look into it a little bit more because bro's talented, and like Justin Jefferson, you can tell he's all about that work because you can see the way he grew from this season to next season. I'm not saying Jamar Chase can't do that either, but like Justin Jefferson is working on becoming like one of the best receivers in our league, period. And he's doing that with Thielen on the other side, Dalvin Cook back there, and motherfucking Kirk Cousins, which your cousin Kirk, which is your favorite quarterback.
Yeah.
Not mine, but motherfucking. That's what I like about Justin Jefferson. He's working on like a Julio Jones type stick. Like he's about to go crazy, especially if you look at the numbers right now. Shit is insane.
Yeah, no, and usually they always talk about sophomore slump, but even with Thielen out with injury, like this, nothing has phased this man. From like with Thielen in, without Thielen, Kirk Cousins having a bad game. Well, at least Justin Jefferson. Even if Kirk only throws 180 yards, 120 is going to Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. What's it called? We could talk about that game next.
Yeah, with let me see. I believe that's Monday. Yeah, that's Monday. All right, let's jump over to Monday. We had I knew it was gonna be ugly because you always fade Kirk Cousins in primetime, especially coming off a win in the previous primetime game. But they got the job done. That's all you can say. They beat the Bears 17-9 at Soldier Field. How you feeling?
It was straight. That was a good game to watch. The game probably looks a little weaker than when you look at the score, but it was a good entertaining game to watch. I ain't did into that game. And that's what I like about LA. It's not crazy late when the games are done. Like motherfucking, I was eating dinner at 8:30 and it was like the third quarter and shit. Motherfucking
Yeah.
But Justin Jefferson, I thought Justin Jefferson was gonna have a great game off the top because he probably had like 2 catches, maybe 2 or 3 catches that first drive, and the last one for a touchdown was pretty much you don't want to see Justin Jefferson 1-on-1. Like that's pretty much what he told that corner. He said he hit him with the that's all he had to do. One cut, and put his hands up. You don't really want to see. I know I don't want to see Justin Jefferson 1-on-1. Motherfucking, but at the end of the day, Kirk Cousins only had 84 yards and 43 of them were 87 yards and 43 of them were Justin Jefferson. So Kirk Cousins was kind of a little bit off. I'm not exactly sure why. I'm gonna double check the film because like the highlights can't really tell you too much. But Kirk Cousins was I don't want to say gooking, but he was off a little bit on this one because like 87 yards is not a lot, and like probably got a lot of those on the first drive of the game. But Dalvin Cook, monster. I don't think he had a crazy good game, but he was monster. He's always going to open up the lanes for you. And at the end of the day, I think I understand why the fade Kirk Cousins on primetime thing comes. Because it was like
big lights.
Okay, big lights. I understand. Like I'm gonna keep watching. To see because I'm already not a big Mike Zimmer fan. I like the team. I like the Vikings organization, and I'm not the coolest of Mike Zimmer fans. But like you say, he gets his name respect in the defensive world, and it should be because they were very fucking stingy. They forced 3 forced fumbles. Wait, hold on, time out. Fuck Scott Novak. I don't know why. But for some reason, every time I see this man on field, I feel like he's enjoying the TV time. I don't know. Maybe it's from somebody that be on camera. But like, there's just something about
like
him.
the vibe like he's giving off.
I feel like he's performing when he does that. Fuck that nigga. Like who is he? But like, I don't know. I gotta meet him. Probably has a great family and all that good stuff. But like Scott Novak, the fact that I remember this ref's name, because every time I see him, I'll be like, "What you doing? Get off the field, bitch! I want to watch football." But back to the. I just had to do that because I put that in my notes. Like I had to take a second to say fuck.
Hey, sometimes you just have to get it off your chest, bro.
But back to the Vikings defense, though, since Mike Zimmer is respecting the defensive world. Let me get back to my notes. See, this is why you can't leave me in the hotel room too long. I have too many notes. So the Vikings defense was stingy. He was forced 3 fumbles, which is a fucking lot. And they really forced Justin Fields to play his best. And this is another game that just shows me Justin Fields is talented. He just has to get a couple of things figured out. He just has to continue to grow and develop. Because they made it to the end zone like 3 times and got stopped. And like, it was like, they were just, and it wasn't even like, okay, they're getting, they're doing something. Nah, they're making penalties. They're getting these plays in. There's a lot of overthrows on important downs. Overthrows. There were a lot of drops. There's not a lot of chemistry. The timing isn't all the way there with his quarterbacks, with his receivers and everything. But at the end of the day, he outplayed the fuck out of Kirk Cousins. He just couldn't capitalize on it. And like, if they scored, like there was one touchdown to Mooney that was like he caught it, one foot and one hip was in bounds, but the other foot, then he slid on the floor, but he didn't slide his foot. So by the time the next part of his body was on touched, it was out of bounds. And I was like, oh, that's close. That's so close. And like we all know that's not a catch. It was like, damn, that's close. And like there were just a lot of drops, and the time was a lot of overthrows. But the Bears need to build on this. If they get rid of Matt Nagy, but bring somebody that's going to develop the boys. Get you a general manager that's going to develop. Like they need Alshon Jeffrey back. Whatever you got to pay that man.
Whatever to get Alshon Jeffrey back, just get him over there.
Yeah, they just couldn't control. They need him. But motherfucking. They just need to convert and just capitalize because he played well. Like he played well.
I will say
he fumbled early, which was stupid. It was a bad fumble. He could have went out of bounds real quick, or he could have slid. But it happens. He's young. He needs to continue to develop. Every week I'm turning more and more into a Justin Fields fan. I'm not gonna hold you.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I think this is one of probably his better games. You know how low I am on him, But what I saw this week, even though it was a loss, like he didn't play bad. Like if he ran at good times to run, he had a nice little like 20-yard run, which was nice. This wasn't like he was pretty efficient thrower, 26 of 39 for 285 yards. But like you said, I don't know if you want to blame coaching or like sometimes it's just not your day when it comes to the fourth downs. And sometimes it is your day when it comes to fourth downs. And they had three in the second half. They had 3 times where they were on the 24, the 14, and I think the 4 of Minnesota. Like those are easy field goals. And they just went for it on all 3 of those fourth downs. And they turnover on downs, all three of those attempts. So that's what 9 points you just left on the board. If you want to look at it like that.
That was the story of a lot of teams this week. That was the story of a lot of teams this week. I'd love to talk about the Falcons next, so we could bring it into that. But I continue finishing the topic. But that came for a lot of teams. These fourth downs is crazy. I like the aggression. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just an aggressive as a motherfucker. Ask my bitches. But motherfucking.
I love the aggression. I mean, it's fun too because it's kind of like Madden. It's like, bro, I'm on like the 10-yard line. Like I got a good play in my playbook that I know is gonna work, but then it just doesn't work. So then now you're looking at it like fuck. But then another week it might work. But I just remember I always think about like Warren. Warren was like 0.3% in the world when it came to Madden. And what did he do? He settled for field goals every single time because he always said like those 3 points add up every time. And so like I would still go for it maybe on one of those fourth downs if you're feeling like your offense has been like moving down the field real good and stuff like that. But I mean, Robert Quinn, shout out to him, put up another 2 sacks. Akeem Nicks is back. He had 2 sacks as well.
Robert Quinn is a baller.
And so I will say the Bears team do not going out like some bitches with their season. Some teams you can tell they packed up the bags. Robert Quinn is playing like this is his last year of football. Same with Keem. Like these people are playing hard.
I think they have a great team, like genuinely, because they played the whole game with all second string quarter. I don't like saying second string. All their no starting corners, no starting DBs. Both the safeties and both corners where all their starters were out from COVID. So it was like, what the fuck? Like, you boys still held them down to 87 yards? Like, I understand fade Kirk Cousins, prime time, the good stuff, but at the end of the day, they have a good team over there. They're building, they're young still. So, like, they just got to fix a couple more things. You know, I'm a big fan of owners. I like seeing the Bears owner, the old lady. She just in that bitch like.
Yeah, and everyone
don't move. She just be like this.
And everyone knows Justin Fields, when they drafted him, they were electric draft day. Like they were like, we just took the generational quarter. Like it was such a big deal they got Fields because it was like he's from Ohio. Like Ohio State was Ohio, which if you know, like it's not that far from Chicago. Chicago and Ohio was really like an hour drive and 2-hour drive.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it might be a little bit, but it's not that far. So like when they got someone who's basically right down the street, it was kind of like it was like this big deal. And he was like, they thought just like Mac Jones, like they thought this was the steal. Like they didn't have to trade up for him. They just got this generational talent. So I'm not gonna hate no more on the boy, but I will say if he had a bad game, I will say it was a bad game.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm hot. I'm trying to come out the hoodie. You want to talk about the Falcons real quick?
Yeah, I was just about to jump into that. We had the Falcons losing in San Francisco 13-31, and this was a big game for the NFC playoff picture.
You keep throwing the playoff picture in there, which is a good reason why this was a big game. But this was just a big game because it was a big game. Like we're playing against Kyle Shanahan. For the Falcons fan, you know, Falcons fans stand up. Well, fucking, you gotta say it quietly, stand up. But don't worry, they're gonna be on this bit. Hey, Falcons, Twitter, stand up, motherfucker.
Yeah, but you gotta take pride in that because you yourself is very honest with like, bro, the Falcons win 2 to 3 games. I'm okay with that. So for y'all to even be right where y'all were at to be like, oh, this was a big game come the playoff picture, like you gotta take a little pride. Like I'm just prideful that the Dolphins are now in the hunt. When they started off 1-7.
No, I'm actually prideful for the Dolphins. Just the fact that they came back like they did, and like, because you guys have a good ass fucking coach. Like your coach is great. So like the fact that you kept fighting, because y'all could quit. Y'all could have quit like some bitches a minute ago. Like the second, especially when y'all lost to the Jaguars. Oh, y'all could have quit. Y'all could have quit like some hoes.
Yeah,
y'all kept fighting. So that's why I love to see that you take pride in it. But I take pride in the fact that we play hard every play. We don't give up. Even though we were down, we lost 31-13. We didn't convert in the red zone like 3 times. Like we started off, they took away our touchdown to Cordell Patterson. And for some reason, I've been wanting a commercial break, so I didn't get to see the replay on why it wasn't a touchdown. I'm not gonna get mad, though. Mommy, I'm kind of mad. I'm not gonna get mad.
I'm upset.
But it was 31-13 at the end of the day, and I feel like we played really well. We drove our defense, and it's tough because our defense was getting up 30 points, but like they ran all over us. Like at the end of the day, they ran all over us, and their defense stopped the run. And like I was, which one is the one that plays from Fortnite? Nick Bosa?
Yes.
Baller. So like we had to deal with the ballers.
Think of Niners, Nick. They both start on the end. That's what I thought of.
Oh, that's nice. I needed that one. So he's a baller at the end of the day. And like they stopped our rush. They stopped our rush, which was kind of helping us win the game. Definitely helped us win the Panthers game last week. The way we was running. But I want to say Cordell Patterson only had 18 yards on the ground. Mike Davis. So motherfucker, they stopped something that we've been working on for a lot of weeks in the past. They beat the fuck out of Matt Ryan. Oh my goodness. If you go on at Totally Blitz, at Totally Blitz, at Totally _Blitz on Twitter, you'll see the video we put up. The fight back. God, there's nothing you can do about that, but you get your ass beat every play. It's tough, but it's life as a Falcons fan. And I just think we played well. Could have played better. It would have been nice to get it done. It would have been really nice to keep the game closer. But we just gotta. This game, the biggest takeaway, we gotta convert in the end zone. Those red zone touchdowns, we gotta find a way to convert. We've been having trouble with that all season. That's something we gotta bring back to the group. We gotta bring back to the blueprint. But let's talk. But DPs has got that defense electric. Even though the defense be wishing they had some plays they could take away, but the defense just doesn't give up on plays, and that's what I'm proud of most about the Falcons. Like there's never a game that we look like kind of just gave up. Like there's some games we got fucked up, but there was no games that we really got. We looked like uninspired. We came out uninspired. We didn't come out really playing. We came out playing flat. Besides the first game, when that we didn't come out really playing flat. So I like that we stayed competitive. We got the Lions this week. Come on, Detroit. You know how I got love for Detroit, but we got to come through and get that biz up real quick. Even though them boys is lit right now. The boys trying to win 3 in a row, but we got to do it. So Falcons Twitter stand up, man. We're going to be back out here this weekend, this Sunday, man. And it wasn't a tough loss. And it would have been nice to win that because we would have really been in the playoff picture. But I'm about championships, you feel me? So if you're going to go to the playoff, you should never be fighting just to get into the playoff. I feel like if you're going to go to the tournament, you should go to the tournament to win that.
Win it.
But that's what we was taught. That's just how I was coached in wrestling. Like if I'm gonna go to a tournament, I better win this shit, motherfucker. I just had to cut all this weight to be here. Like, I'm not just coming here to come here. So motherfucker, that's what it is at the end of the day. I like us to continue to win. We're trying to get we got 3 more games this season. Let's keep playing like we've been playing. Let's do some better things, dog. And at the end of the day, we just gotta convert in the red zone. I feel like one of those lame ass teammates. You ever have a teammate that be like, hey, yo, guys, we gotta stop turning the ball over. Everybody looking just like, obviously,
shit.
Like, what up? We don't obviously nobody likes turning the fucking ball over. Shut up, Kenny. I got that from Robert. I got that from a big podcast. Robert always was talking about Kenny the Jet Smith, where Kenny the Jet Smith said he was a leader, and they was like, nah, Kenny was a nigga. I'd be like, hey man, we gotta stop turning the ball over. Everybody be looking like, duh, Kenny, nobody wants to turn the ball over.
Shut up, Kenny.
So like that's how I look at it. But shout out to Falcons, man. I'm happy.
Hey.
I'm so happy with them boys. You know, I still got the best grades around. Like, I'm gonna take my hoodie off because under Falcons gear, there's always just more Falcons gear. You feel me?
Hey, I'm gonna shout out to Russell Gage. Now to Calvin Ridley.
Nice, 91 yards.
Yeah, 8 catches, 91 touchdown. He's a
silently that's
what I'm saying. He silently became their number 1. Like no one's really talking about him. I sat more in fantasy football for him, and people thought I was crazy going into the playoffs sitting Scary Terry. But I was like, bro, Scary Terry is gonna be kind of concussion protocol, backup QB. This nigga Russell Gage is low key the number 1 wide receiver. Like he's Calvin Ridley. There's low key. Like he's getting all the targets. And
Keith, think about it. At the beginning of the summer, like you had Julio and Calvin. So like you didn't, and then throughout the season, Cordell Patterson started picking up. So like he really had to sit down and he really stayed down and continue to watch and write and everything
Just
like that. I know you
stay
see
hungry.
that.
Stay waiting.
So yeah, and then he just waited his shot. He just
what
waited. He
the
didn't hate
coaches
to
say?
take your turn.
Yeah, what the coaches say? To stay ready.
Stay ready. Hey, if
He was
you
ready.
stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Is that simple?
And then George Kittle, everyone's going to talk about Kelsey's huge game with 2 touchdowns, but Kittle consistently 6 catches, 93 yards this game. I give it to Kelsey. He had the better week this week, but Kittle still is still doing his efficiently. Next game, this game was crazy. I know you're probably going to have a lot to say about it. We had the Packers winning by 1 point against Baltimore, 31-30. The Packers win the clincher division. Ravens tried 2 points instead of kicking the extra point to tie it up at the end of the game. Aaron Rodgers ties Brett Favre's Packers record for touchdowns. Like, this is a pretty crazy game. Like, there's a lot of shit going on from different angles, whether it was historic, like Tyler Huntley having 2 touchdowns and rushing for 2 touchdowns. And I think I was telling you before, because I was like, he wasn't no slouch. Like at Utah State, he had all the records for like everything. And but he's just a similar skill set to Lamar, and he proved it. He did his best Lamar impersonation. Maybe some other team will go out and get him now this coming off season.
You know what I like about him? I think it's easy to say he's a Lamar clone, but he's somebody with athletic skill set, with a very athletic skill set, in the same exact offense as Lamar. So like they don't got to change the offense too much. Like versus like if they put RG3 in, RG3 was somebody with a similar skill set, but that wasn't the athletic, fast, running all over the place.
Yeah,
RG3 was a little bit behind that. He was kind of trying to throw it a little bit.
He was older. He had injuries a couple times already. Oh, and real quick, I forgot. I'm shouting out all the tight ends. So shout out to Mark Andrews. 10 catches, 136 yards, and both of the touchdowns. So like he
almost the third one, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, he had himself a day. He's like, hey, bro, don't forget my name when it comes to the best tight end.
Yeah, I like Hutton, man. I like Hutton. He's not bad at all. He's not bad at 73 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Like he's not bad at all in my opinion. I like him. I think if the Ravens figure something out where they can kind of duel it out and like have like maybe not next year. Maybe next year you kind of go back to once everybody's nice and healthy, you go back to what was winning you games before, and then see what the holes in that was, and then see where could you put Hubby in that. Don't trade him away. Use him.
Nah, bro, they're gonna send that boy over to the Big Blue New York, and I would love to see him kind of eat over there. Be Daniel 2.0.
It's tough. If I was a GM, I wouldn't, because I'm a big, because in NFL trades, you gotta feel like you won. I don't care if you lost, you gotta feel like you won. You gotta think that you did whatever you're doing is right. So like people might come to you for trades, like the Panthers might come for bruh. What's it called? He would look good on the Panthers too. The Panthers might come for bruh.
Oh yeah, that would be a good fit.
The football team might come for bruh. Like there's some fits.
But they would have to send a nice like a first rounder, and I don't think anyone's willing to send a first.
Nobody's doing that.
But that's what probably the Ravens would be looking at. Like, hey, bro, you're gonna have to. If we spend a 3rd or 4th rounder on him, we at least got to get a 1st or 2nd rounder for him. But did y'all not see the tape? Did y'all not see what he just did? That's first round.
So like, and that's against the good Packers defense. But like, shout out the Ravens. Their D got solid. Their D got solid sacks on 3rd down. I don't know how many sacks they got all game. Definitely got some solid sacks on 3rd down. But this game was a big game on the hot hand because it was pretty close in the first half. I can't remember the score exactly. I wish I wrote that bitch down.
14-14.
But I didn't really see.
Halftime.
It was what's up?
14-14 at halftime.
Yeah, it was fucking beautiful. Like it was this close game, but it was a hot hand. Like the Packers caught it for the whole 3rd quarter up to 9 minutes in the 4th. I feel like that's when the Packers were hot. And then the last 8 minutes, the Ravens had that shit. So, like, it was a game of running to whoever was hot. Hutton did his thing. He didn't quit, and they kept going. But now let's get into the most important thing that everybody wants to hear about. Everybody wants to talk about everything. What are you doing in that situation? If you're John Harbaugh, 40 seconds left on the clock, Packers got 1 time out. You just scored. You kicking that field goal, you go for 2.
Personally, I would. So, there's a couple things I think you got to consider. Just like apparently the Ravens were like 3 for 8 or 3 for 7 when it came to fourth down, or it came to going for 2, which is like one of the lower percentages in the league. And that's something I think you would have to consider. Another thing you have to consider, I would say, would be the momentum. Like you said, like the momentum just shifted into the Ravens' hand. The defense was stopping Green Bay enough to be able to get the comeback and basically almost tie it up. So I'm probably going for 1 because I feel like we have all the momentum on our side. And I'm just hoping that, there's only 1 timeout. So I think you could stop him into forcing. And Mason Crosby has had one of the lowest kicking percentages. That was something I've been banging for a while. Was like that man has missed so many field goals for this team. I don't know if it's his fault, the long snapper's fault, the holder's fault, or just the special teams as a whole. And I would just play it off on, I guess that would be the analytics of it, like just playing off the numbers of Mason Crosby not being a good kicker right now, or just missing a lot of kicks. Our defense has been playing better in the second half, holding them, or not second, but the second half of the fourth quarter, and our offense has been the better offense the second half, fourth quarter.
I appreciate you, Paul. You played right into my hands. You played right into my hands. That's exactly what I wanted you to say. Because I agree. I would go for the 2 as well. And like, I wouldn't say I would go for the 2 as well, just because the way the offense was clicking, and I was like, I would have trusted the offense still. I would have trusted my offense in overtime. But you got to remember what's going on with their defense. They got a lot of injuries. They got a lot of. You're going against Aaron Rodgers, who's looking to score, break Brett Favre's record, which we'll bring that up in a second. But you're looking at that team, and it's cool to use that. It's like the analytics just don't work. Analytics can work for every single set. Like Pat McAfee always says it. If there's a stat going for this, that means there's a stat somewhere going against it. Like, that's what it is. Because, like, at the end of the day, the analytics say, like, go for it. Don't go to overtime. Just go for it. But now the analytics people will say you're supposed to go for it the time before, the touchdown before. So when you go for this one, it's not that big a deal. Even if you miss that one, you just get this one regardless. You get the next one regardless. And then I liked how John Harbaugh doesn't play that analytics bullshit. Like, he be going for him. But he literally, you see the check the tape, NFL Films released that. But before the drive even happened, you said, okay, after we go down and score this next one, you want to kick a field goal or go for 2. So first off, you're already looking into this young quarterback's mindset, who's doing his second start in his whole entire career. Like, yo, you're going to go down and score this shit again. Because that's how my coach used to be. My coach used to get me in my face and go, hey, yo, Kevin, you're going to go win this. And I'd go lose. But he go, you're going to go win this. And I wouldn't believe him. But he was telling the truth. Like, every time I go out there and I go bust some white boys, that's strong ass little white boys. And I get there like, oh shit, I'm stronger than this motherfucker. I'm faster than this guy. But like, it's to get that confidence. There's some people that need that. And like, that was a really good play on their coach. And I feel like you can build upon that. I just didn't like the play exactly, because it was kind of just like, yo, let me just give it to my best player, which makes sense. It was a speed option out to let me give it to my best player. But like, the second read, there was a second, even though there's only really one read on that play, but Marcus Brown was kind of open. Like, I feel like if you look at Andrews and you see like, yo, he's going to get punished if he hits this, let me just, the NFL is fast, so it's tough to say this, but like, maybe check that second read, because Marcus Brown was open, but like, it's easy to say that when you're watching the film versus when you're on the field. Like Marcus Brown, but I think the play was 100%. We're going to give that shit to Mark Andrews. That's the hot hand. He's already got 2 touchdowns. He has the best hands on the team right now. And it just didn't go for it. I think I just feel bad. I just think, like, from Justin Tucker's mindset, Justin Tucker's like, does he have a problem with kicks or something? Like, this is not his style anymore?
Yeah, like
you only going to call me when you need it for 60? Like,
yeah, I'm not too upset about going for it, though. Like, I can see how you're probably thinking, man, we have to put Aaron Rodgers away. But
it's the smartest thing, because when they did it against the Chiefs, it was genius.
Yeah, but to me, it's also like, if Aaron Rodgers is coming down and kicking a field goal, it doesn't matter if you're going for 2 right now or just going for overtime right now. that like even if you go for 2, you're up by 1, and he gets in field goal percentage. He gets in field goal range, and they kick a field goal. Now y'all just lost by 2 instead of 3. So
I don't want to disrespect. I don't want to disrespect their defense, but like they're missing a lot of key pieces on defense, and like I don't know half the motherfuckers they got out there, and like that defense, Baltimore defense is something I kept up with. Like Marlon Humphreys, Marcus Peters, and them boys. Like I used to like their explosive defense, and that was a defense that could score touchdowns to me. But they're missing a lot, so I understand it. I would personally like just as a team wise, because I feel like the one thing about these fourth downs that I feel like can't ever be put on paper is the trust that goes away by like losing these games and losing them like that. Because trust is something that takes time to build, but only seconds to lose, only seconds to fade away, the fade. So like the trust is something that you can't really put on it. So like they're going for these fourth downs, but there are people on the field thinking like, yeah, you think that we can't do it? Like what if we just do our job? I understand they think they did what they could do, but what if we do? Like let us come back and do our job. We got to stop before. Let's get another one.
no, that's true.
But lastly, before we get off this one, how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers tying my dog Brett Favre?
I've been talking about like I think Aaron Rodgers is the best Packers quarterback of all time. So like I knew eventually he was gonna do it just with the way like he looks like he might play for like he's been doing this silently for like 12 years now, 13 years. But my big thing is just how much more efficient he was than Brett Favre. Like I don't know, the interceptions difference was massive. I think it was like 50 or 60 less interceptions.
193.
Jesus, like yeah, no, that's just. I saw the picture, and I already knew just because anyone who knows Aaron Rodgers, you just know like every year he doesn't throw many interceptions. That's why he has the best QBR of all time. Like he doesn't throw interceptions.
You know why though?
Because I think he answered that question. It was a funny ass answer. He said like, "Oh, I just throw it to where the defense isn't." Like it's a simple ass answer.
No, that's real. But like Aaron Rodgers is a fucking NFL is a football encyclopedia. Like he remembers plays so well that like he can look and he can understand that there are just things he can understand that there are certain things that you can do in the game to limit a lot of these mistakes. Because if you look at the first game when he threw those interceptions, you're looking like that's not Aaron Rodgers like. Why? Because we're not used to Aaron Rodgers throwing that bitch up to his best receiver and just hoping that the receiver can make a play. Like there are a lot of things you can do. There are like little things you can do. There are little things that you can do in the game, so that way when it's time to make bigger splasher plays or limit those tip balls and stuff like that, and just knowing watching film and knowing who's defenders and their systems and how they like to move and their nuances. That's all up here. Like this is cool. This is amazing. But the difference between the greatest ever is this up here.
It's the noggin. Well,
and I have a strong one.
We had another greatest ever, but getting shut out at home. Saints beating the Buccaneers 9-0 in prime time. Was this Sunday night prime time? Yeah, Sunday night prime time 9-0. Tom Brady breaking tablets. Tom Brady low-key taunting the defense and not getting called for it. Well, not the defense, but taunting the sidelines, the coaching. But hey, I gotta give it to the Saints. They had no Sean Payton, no head coach on the sideline. They got hit with the COVID bug. Chris Godwin's now out for the rest of the year. Oh, is it time for nap time?
Oh, I had to watch this game. I'm definitely not talking about this motherfucker. What? This game. Oh my goodness.
Hey, don't hate on the kicker though.
You see how disrespectful I am. I took the time to go grab all that shit just to try to, because I fucked both these teams. But I had to watch this boring ass shit. This is some bullshit. I told myself, yo, don't take a shower, because every time you take a shower, you miss all the good stuff. And then when you do watch it, you miss back. Don't watch it. Just sit in your filth all day. Sit in your filth for 4 quarters and watch this bullshit. And that's exactly what the fuck happened. Not a damn thing. Motherfucking Tony Dungy and them boys was more explosive than these niggas on the fucking field today. First off, Brady got shut out. That shit's never happened. Falcons never done no shit like that before. They said that was the first time since 2006.
Jesus.
Oh, what the fuck were you doing in 2006?
Man, I don't even know. It's been so
Bruh,
long. What
I
grade
was
was
watching
I
the
in?
Miami Heat. I was watching the Miami Heat win a championship with Shaq, Gary Payton, Jason Williams, and motherfucking Antoine Walker. Like, and D Wade that's in a young D Wade. Like, bro, first off, so this shit doesn't happen. This was a blip in history. This is a blip that's just gonna get thrown under a rock. But I thought the coolest stat about that shit was the fact that no active defensive player was in the league when that shit happened.
Damn.
So like that shows you how long these
Wow.
motherfuckers been in the league game. But it looks like the Bucks is actually here they're showing highlights from that game right now. That's funny. But the Bucks motherfucking they just look bad. They got a lot of injuries. Chris Godwin was out for the season. Rest in peace. You never want to not rest in peace. Let's pray for a speedy recovery. Same thing with playoff Lenny. We don't get to see him in the playoffs this week. And like I hate a team for facts, but I never want to see injuries. That's terrible. But motherfucking them boys just got shut. Them boys got shut out, and I don't want to say it happened, but like even if I would get shut out like that, we probably got shut out twice this season. But like I was like, but I
You
said
gonna shut out what?
yeah, I think we might have got shut out twice. Now I think about it, but like Tom Brady don't get shut out ever. Like, but so it was a dry game. It was Taysom Hill making plays every once in a while. I think their best players that their receiver Gainwell. It's not bad. Look at this man Taysom. And they had okay, bro, I see you. But yeah, they did a little son. They didn't really do nothing. They just got beat. Like they just got beat bad. And this is those games that be firing Tom Brady. You know, he's a GOAT, so I took that personally. It's gonna be one of these games. If they start streaking after this, if they win the next three in convincing fashion, I would be like, okay, this team is ready for the playoffs. But the only thing I'll take away from this is that now we're third in the division. Like we was just second. Now we're back to third.
Damn.
That's all I took away from this game.
Cam Jordan, even though Jordan kind of annoying to me sometimes, but he got 2 sacks on Brady. Tom Brady fumbled
what's
one.
that? 100.5 his whole entire career now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and
no,
I did like whoever that was looking at Brady.
The
like,
corner
got your number.
Yeah. The corner was dirty. I don't know who that was. I think it was Gardner. I know Gardner got an interception, and Tom Brady breaking the tablet. I saw something which I'm not trying to. Yeah, I'm not trying to like do nothing, but it was just like, bro, if Odell breaks a tablet, he's a diva. But Tom Brady breaks a tablet, it's passion. And I'm like, that's true. I'm like, I see that apples to oranges kind of thing all the time.
Facts. This shit doesn't matter. Nobody's gonna bring it up twice. Like nobody's gonna bring it up again. But bro, fucking.
Yeah, but the biggest thing to me is that Godwin's out for the season. No Leonard Fournette, and to me, I was just asking the question. Like, I know you want to bring out all your guys and play the game and stuff, but it's like, would you rather be the number 1 seed or number 2 seed with like 2 or 3 of your main guys hurt and not playing in the playoffs, or would you rather be the 4 seed and having all your guys in the playoffs?
So, yeah, I respect it. Hey, Taysom Hill did that whole game with his finger fucked up, and it's interesting because him and Russell Wilson had the same injury, but like the rehab was different. Like, I don't know exactly how they're going about it, but like it's crazy. And that's it.
Yeah. No, that was it.
The punter. If I'm gonna give anybody the game ball for this game, because like if Sean Payton better not give that shit after testing positive, I'm gonna give it to the punter guilty because bro was talking his shit, and he was on the field probably just as much as everybody else this game. Like there was a lot of punting going
Yeah.
on.
And I think we probably spent a little bit too much time on this game. All there's less action than what we were talking. Another game. This game was pretty exciting. I saw the Totally Blitz page going nuts with this game. The Browns losing to the Raiders 16-14. But at one point, Totally Blitz was talking about the Browns just sealed it, but Derek, who's a sneaky motherfucker now.
Hey, no cap, motherfucker. I actually just got a notification. That tweet got 827 impressions, I guess. So, I don't know exactly what that means, but I guess I don't think 800 people viewed it, but I mean like 800 timelines. I don't know. That shit was pretty good, though. That shit caught fire. But mother trucking Derek. Derek played slow. This was a very slow game for the boys. Like Derek snuck this one. I'm not gonna lie. Derek got this one by the skin of his teeth. I don't think I took my notes on this one. I might have. Yeah, Case Keenum. No, Case Keenum didn't even play. It was
Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins scored that last touchdown because I was watching this game like, God damn it, Derek. As long as you can get this away, my pick was right. That's all that matters, Derek. Make sure my pick was right. Nah. And then when he scored that last one, I was like, fucking Derek. And then next thing you know, I really thought the game was close. But the next play, he tried to hit Zay Jones on the splash play. Pick. And I'm just sitting like, fucking Derek. All you hear, and look, Jerry's mom is in the room right there, and all you hear is fucking Derek. And then she'd be like, who is Derek? I'm like, dumbass court, this dumbass white boy on the field, on the field right now. I apologize for cursing now. I'm gonna go put myself in timeout. But motherfucking
that defense though.
But the defense got the stops, and Derek put together some throws to get to get the drive back, put him in field goal range. And it was funny because they iced the kicker, and I love seeing that because I remember that was like a big thing back in the day. But icing the kicker, he kicked it, made that bitch, and then he kicked it again. And they said the second one would have been good from 60. I was like, that was just the first one. Was just
no slouch. He's probably a Pro Bowl kicker, just because he's having a pretty good year. Derek Carr, let me see. The crazy.
So, yeah, Derek snuck. They snuck out by the skin of their teeth. I want to know what they're gonna do about Josh Jacobs because, like, you got to figure out how to get that boy back going. Like, is it an O-line issue? Because I feel like they have some play action because they got some good receivers in Hunter Renfrow, Zay Jones, and Deshaun Jackson. Every time I watch them, I see like, okay, they got another receiver that's not bad, that's athletic and can make plays. So like, they got that's like good guys. But they just got to figure out something to start getting that offense dynamic again. Because you can't just put it all on Derek every game. That should get you in trouble.
Not true. There is a crazy statistic from this game. Hunter Renfrow recovered 3 fumbles on the game. He fumbled 2, picked them up, and then he picked up someone else's fumble as well. So he had 3 fumble recoveries as a receiver.
Yeah, they would have got blown out though. The Browns had half of the people from the COVID list and their coach. They would have got blown out.
Very likely. Let's see. We had 2 games going on at the same exact time at Tuesday, which I thought was crazy. I thought one game would be early and one game would be late, but instead they said, we'd run them both.
Guess how many I watched?
How many?
Because I was on the motherfucking plane.
Oh.
And my flight back from LA was so smooth because I finessed it. I went to the gym at 4:30 in the morning, which is 7 o'clock our time. Beautiful. I like the LA time zone. I was really finessing shit. Yeah, so I got so much work done because I could finesse going to sleep late and waking up early. And like I go to sleep at 11:30, which is 1 o'clock our time, but I wake up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock. So now I'm getting notes done. I'm going to the gym. And like 7 o'clock, complimentary breakfast. And Pat McAfee comes on at 9 o'clock over there. So that shit was smooth.
Oh, that is kind of fire. It's like a morning.
So like, yeah, I was finessing the time zone because everything was normal over there. So I was doing my normal routine, but over there in the LA time, and I was just getting extra sleep because of it. And I was able to pace myself and do everything smooth and not be tired throughout the day. That shit was fine. I like that shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I watched none of these games, but I did great research on the bitches, and I caught a little bit on my flight back from my flight when I went from LA to New Orleans with them bitch ass eights. New Orleans, and then I went from New Orleans to Tampa. But LA to New Orleans like 4 hours. Oh. And then motherfucking LA, but New Orleans to Tampa, cake. Like it probably takes me longer to get to work on the bus. But I just had to throw that out there because I was flying with Kevin. But on to the games.
Yeah, we had the Seahawks losing. This was, I think me and you both had the Rams winning here. Stafford had a pretty good game, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns. The defense did get at the ass, though. 4 sacks on Stafford. Sony Michel, low-key's been taking over as the starting running back. Even though Henderson's back, Sony Michel had 18 carries, whereas Henderson only had 6. But Michel had 92 yards on those 18 carries. So, like, he's low-key kind of taking that spot. Cooper Kupp, though, number one guy by far. 9 catches, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's in he's doing his thing. Like I can't even that man is the number one receiver when it comes to I think yards, catches, even touchdowns, because I think he has 14 touchdowns or something like that.
That motherfucker's unstoppable. You can't guard him one-on-one. He's all over
Yeah.
the field, right?
Just when you get that chemistry like Devontae Adams to Aaron Rodgers, now I guess Cooper Kupp to this Matthew Stafford, like when you just get that chemistry going, it's kind of like you're just it's way better than any skill set.
He's there, and then like Matthew Stafford, and he's close to the record. They said 340, and he has 3 games. So like three really good games, and you got you a record. And Matthew Stafford is the person to do it to the last person with the record. So respect to what they got going on over there. That's an explosive offense. But I feel like come playoff time, they got to be able to give that thing to Odell and everything. But I like how they're playing Cooper Kupp, because I'm pretty sure he lined up at running back and tight end at one point.
Oh shit!
And he definitely has a rush.
He had a rush, but I didn't know he lined up at tight end. But I would not be shocked.
I want to say he lined up all over the field.
Running some crazy schemes. No, I believe it. Sean McVay runs crazy schemes like that, where like just because he knows this is like he wants to attack a certain spot in the defense, and like something a little exotic will work.
Nah, definitely. Andy Reid and Sean McVay are like my chick. I feel like those are two Kyle Shanahan used to be, but I feel like those are two offensive minds that always have something up their sleeve at all times.
Yeah, and on the defensive side, Von Miller had a sack, Aaron Donald had a sack, Leonard Floyd had a sack. Like that's the 3-headed dragon that they have running on the D line.
They was getting at it, man. But don't sleep on the Seahawks. The Seahawks was doing what they had to do. They got
I just think Russ, something's going on. I don't know what's up with Russ. I know it's his finger probably, but I thought he was gonna be kind of balling out towards the end after like slowly coming back. But still another game, 156 yards, 1 interception, touchdowns.
I expected. After last game, that them playing so well last game, I expected another step up.
Yeah.
Kind of just the same. But it's that defense. That defense was tricky. Jalen Ramsey was winning a lot of his matchups. A lot. Anytime you kind of threw it by Jalen Ramsey, he won. He didn't get a pick, but you won a lot of his matchups. DK, they kind of smothered him a lot. Smothered him really, 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 really well. But don't sleep on Dunlap. I want to say Dunlap got all their sacks on
No, someone else had a sack, but he had 3 of the 4.
Yeah, somebody went kind of crazy on their side, and that's what it was. It was a good defensive game, even though because it was only 10-10 until the start of the fourth. And the run game made a difference. I feel like the Rams have 5 different rushes, and I want to say that's including Matthew Stafford. Maybe not including Matthew Stafford, because I think he had 3 rushes for -3 yards. But that was the difference. They stuck to the run game. They kept something going to the offense, so the defense had to stay true. Quandre Diggs got a classy pick on Matthew Stafford early in the game. That shit was smooth. I like those catching when you pick that bitch off in stride, make it look like it made the quarterback do it right to you because it was baited his ass. I love those shit. But that's what motherfucking the Seahawks team is interesting to me because of all the talks with Russell Wilson over the summer. And then Pete Carroll, I didn't know Pete Carroll is the oldest quarterback the coach in the league. He's 70. So they got some stuff to figure out. You got to remember Tyler Lockett wasn't there. So, like, with the game being as close as it was for as long as it was, and the Rams just finally just breaking free. But at the end of the day, both these defenses played really, really hard. So, like, the Seahawks are interesting to me because they're not losing. They're losing, but they're not getting fucked up. Like, they're good. They're good players are still playing well-ish. But it's just like, what's the next season gonna look like for them? And how do they move on further? Because that's kind of the part we are in the playoff, where we are in the system, we are in the season. It's like if you're not at least a 6-win team, like, okay, what are you gonna move on to? What are you doing right now to build the next season?
Yeah, it's about time that you start looking towards the future for this team. This same with these 2 teams. One team that had to show up and play for playoffs, and one team the winner was playing for playoffs, and the losing team basically packing up the season. We had Washington.
Don't forget, you always want to win. You always, especially against a divisional rival. Every game you're gonna go in there and try to win. But it was just like, what are the Seahawks gaining every week right now? They gotta gain something because they gotta figure out what their future's looking like for real.
Yeah. Let's see. The other game that went on at the exact same time, we had Washington and Philly. This team won. Philly wins 27-17. This offense, I mean, they had the whole rushing, and Miles Sanders is balling. The whole team, like all three of them running. Jalen Hurts, I know he stole the 2 touchdowns at the goal line. But Jordan Howard, low key, I know we haven't talked that name in forever, but 15 rushes for 69 yards. Miles Sanders, 18 for 131. Jalen Hurts, one of his better throwing days, 20 of 26, 296 yards. But I will say this Washington team was another COVID. Like if they would have had, like their Heineke was out with injury, backup quarterback COVID, but that's so many teams were dealing with it, so there's no excuses. But I know Washington wishes they had their full deck of hands, especially with the playoffs. Like both these teams was kind of similar. Like whoever wins this game might go to the playoffs in the wild card. Whoever loses this game might have to call their season. Like it's kind of done now.
Hey man, I'm just saying, man. I know in Washington they needed somebody. They could have called me. I'm vaccinated.
Hey, Kev could
have called me. Like I would have talked to Marcus Smith. Like, hey, I'm gonna go help the boys. I'm only gonna play special teams. But they would have put me in a running back too. You feel me? Because they wouldn't have been able to scheme for me. Because
you were playmaker, Kev.
Yeah, they you know what I'm saying, they wouldn't have been able to scheme for me. And then, don't forget I'm cheat. But I'm not gonna get caught, so it's not really cheating. But Gibson, they really had something for Gibson, no cap, dog, because he only had 1.7. He broke. I want to say he had a couple good runs, but at the end of the day, he averaged like 1.7 yards per carry. So like that D line was there, and I want to say they got like 6 sacks. Oh no, they got 2 sacks and 5 tackles for loss, and that D line showed up. Washington started off strong, scoring 10 off rip, and like it looked like okay, fuck it. If we got a fucking backup quarterback, then COVID like a motherfucker. We still got Scary Terry. We gonna do what we do. Nah, man, like that D line was showing up. That D line made stuff tough, very, very tough. But Washington kept it close. I want to see the rematch. I do want to see the rematch because they play again. But how do you feel about Jalen Hurts? Because I feel like he's gonna get a lot of credit for running that, but he kind of threw it really, really well this game. I want to say he got 20 for 26, 296 yards with 1 passing touchdown and 1 interception. So like he was very consistent, and the throws he was hitting Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert early were pretty tight.
Yeah, Dallas Goedert. I have him as like I had him pretty high on my list of tight ends, and now these last couple of games he's had some big ass games. One with Gardner Minshew, and now with Jalen Hurts. But 7 cut tech. Like if there's another tight end, this was a big tight end week. We had Dallas 7 catches, 135 yards from him. Jalen Hurts. I mean, I don't think he's that bad. Like I said, I always thought he was great. And now with this Sirianni's getting these boys into rhythm, they're actually running the ball. Like they rushed the ball 41 times. They threw the ball for 26. Like that's some old school football, but it's working. In 26 throws to get basically 300 yards. These are not dink and dunk plays. These are some big chunk plays mixed in there.
I respect it. I'm not gonna lie. I respect that to the fullest. It was. I didn't watch the game, but from what I could tell, it was pretty competitive.
If they can continue, like if Jalen Hurts continues to just grow and just like learn to make all the passes that are like the short to mediums, and there's like no window run, stuff like that comes with experience and time and be able to read defenses and stuff. Like he's gonna have a foot in the league for quite some time.
I like it. He's promising. He's another promising one. He's not promising. He's doing very promising things. The way they're running that ball starts with him.
Let's see. Well, that one was the end. That was football from Saturday to Tuesday, or Thursday to Tuesday. Before we leave, we still have one more football game. This is week 16, which is crazy to think about. We've gone 16 weeks talking football now. We have the 49ers, 8-6, playing the Titans, who are 9-5. Titans need to win this because the Colts are on their ass when it comes to the division. 49ers need to win this because the NFC's playoffs wild card is getting kind of tight. Who you rocking with? I think A.J. Brown should be back. He's a little banged up, but he's had 3 weeks to get healed. So I'm not too sure how injured he is. Julio should be playing. But let me know how you feel about this game.
Hey, man, this game is very, 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 very close. Like, this game is a lot, very close on paper. I hope it's a fucking thriller. I hope it's one of them type thrillers. Because it's going to come down to the defense. Because that 49ers offense, can you run all over that Titans defense? Probably not. I can't name that many running backs that have done that like that this season. But what's your secondary thing? Because at least the motherfucking 49ers playing really well these last couple of games. He got another 210 with 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Can they block for him? While the 49ers defense goes and bandages that fucking Titans line that's been giving up all these fucking sacks all game. Because that D-line, I had to deal with that D-line.
Yeah.
That's not the D-line you want to deal with.
To add to that, the Titans O-line, left tackle Taylor Lalon and left guard Rodgers Safford did not practice. They have been placed on the COVID list.
I respect it.
So those are 2 starting O-linemen for the Titans who will be out.
I'm a Vrabel fan. I want to take Vrabel and the boys. I want to see what the boys are doing. But I'm going to take the 49ers in this one. They're kind of rolling right now. They're streaking. They're kind of hot. And I just like that defense to go crazy on the boys all day. And Tannehill might not have much to say about
that. My gut's telling me for some reason the home dog will show up because they are the underdog this week. Everything's also telling me, though, do not pick the 49ers of this red hot. But just to make it interesting, give me the Titans here. I think their defense is going to get some sacks here. Their defensive line has been balling. They might get 4 or 5 sacks, create some fumbles, stuff like that. Offensively, I think Tannehill's going to have a better game. What's up, Jerry?
Hey, man, I'm gonna let you get a quick second from a Saints fan. You feel me? Because I was asleep during this game. I wish I was sleeping in this game, but there's somebody watching out there right next to me. How you feel about your man Taysom? You got 24.
The 9-0.
It's still a dub, though.
It is a dub.
Got something.
Oh yeah, y'all swept them. Is this y'all second year sweeping them?
Fuck them niggas, man.
Come on, dog.
Hey, a dub is a dub. That's all we're gonna say. What's up with you, man?
Oh shit, Sean. We just talking football right now. But are y'all making playoffs? Yeah, that was a big win for y'all playoff picture.
We just lost the spots to Vikings.
Yeah, but you're right there though. You 7-7 now. No one expected y'all to win.
Yeah, but we had it. But once the Vikings won, I guess they had a better what does it go by, record percentage? How do you even make the playoffs?
If it's a tie, they do a head-to-head record. If y'all never played, then they do like your conference, like how many games have you won in the conference, like your record in conference and then in division.
That makes sense. I don't know how that worked out, but hey, you got what, 3 more weeks of football? 3 or 4?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like y'all still have some time.
Yeah. So we're gonna see.
Looks like y'all gotta win out. I wonder who y'all play next week.
Yeah, who do we play, huh?
Oh yeah, we play Monday night. Monday night football.
Y'all won Sunday, right?
Of course, that's
we both of them. Yeah, we both of them.
Of course, that's 6 in a row.
That won 6 in a row?
Yeah, we won 6. We're about to make it 7. One of our reporters asked Tua how he feels about playing in the Superdome on Sunday night, and on Monday night. And he said the last time I played in the Superdome was when Clemson played Alabama and Jalen Hurts got hurt, and y'all know what happens next.
But it ain't college play, boy. This is real man league. It's a real man league. So
but that's my quarterback, though. He said, y'all know what happened.
Your quarterback
next.
talking real slick for somebody been in the league for like 2-3 years now.
Cam Jordan we're gonna make Cam Jordan look stupid. Tua ran over somebody on the Jets. I think Cam Jordan gonna be next.
He ain't ran over Cam Jordan now. Come on now. Come on now.
There are trucks that can't run over Cam Jordan.
Come on now. You doing too much now. You know, as soon as you touch him, get injured.
I know small cars that can't run over Cam Jordan.
Hey, y'all seen Tua's legs?
It might be injured soon. Knowing him.
Nah, bro. Y'all gonna be
tune into the Totally Blitz Twitter to get to see all the action when we out watching this game live.
For real. We're gonna bust y'all's ass Monday night.
That's crazy. I'm not gonna bet. I mean, you know the quarterback situation, so it's not like we like.
No, I don't want to hear that. The media is trying to tell me Taysom Hill's way better than Tua, so I don't want to hear all that.
You know what? The media might be right, to be honest.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The media might be right.
Taysom Hill's throwing 3 interceptions, and I got my Xavier Howard T-shirt on.
That's crazy because Tua gonna throw 4 interceptions.
Well, I don't know, but.
And tune into the Totally
Blitz. And Marcus Lattimore gonna get 4 of them.
And tune in to Totally Blitz Twitter to see all this on film. I will be catching all of this. Follow us at Totally_Blitz. On Twitter and Totally Blitz on YouTube. The vlog will be coming up.
Dang. Well, it's gonna be an interesting game. See how that big goes.
We got to close out soon. This episode's been going for a long time. Give us your pick for Thursday Night Football. We have the 49ers versus the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee.
And Tennessee, I mean,
the Titans are an underdog at home.
They're underdogs?
Yeah, the Titans are the underdogs. We're the 49ers.
It makes sense because 49ers been on a little. I mean, Tennessee been losing lately. Yeah. And 49ers been getting dubs lately. So
remember last time you been on the Titans, they do their job.
49ers or Titans. Oh, who the 49ers played last Sunday?
They played
the Falcons.
Yeah,
and then
they won like 30.
Titans played the Steelers.
19-13. Big Ben.
They did lose to Ben.
He quarterback sneaked it in on him. I don't think they'll like that. You know Vrabel.
I'm gonna go 49ers.
All right. Kev and Jerry are rocking with the Niners. I take the Titans. I'm taking Titans because I believe that with the Colts right on their ass come divisions, like they're gonna come out and win at home.
I think the 49ers are better matched up, but if the Titans come out balling, they get AJ Brown, they're gonna do their thing. But I'm taking the 49ers on this one, man. They didn't bust my ass, so I'm gonna trust them to bust some ass. But if they do lose, I'm gonna be like, you bitch ass niggas. I knew there was a fluke that y'all beat us. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna talk that ignorant shit. You feel me?
Yeah. Well, wrap us up, Kev, or send us out.
Hey, this been a great ass episode. See, look, y'all don't even know this. That boy Paul, this was his flu game. This man Paul woke up with muscle dystrophy. This man was muscle fatigue. That boy was dying. But motherfucking, this been a Totally Blitz podcast because at the end of the day, we always gonna come through with it. It's next man. You don't even know the contingency plan because we definitely have one. And I'm probably gonna use that as a special edition for Christmas this year. But this has been a Totally Blitz podcast. Coming from Kev with the fresh cap. I got that boy Paul sick and Wyndham concert.
Oh, okay.
And we's out here coming with it on the regular, man. Shout out my crocheted hat at Tesla Lisa. So man, go get you one, man. These shits is popping. I can't tell you how much they cost because I got the Kev discount. But I'm gonna fuck with y'all the long way, man. It's been a Totally Blitz podcast. Bitch.
Problem with being problematic. Get the light beam on me ready for electrostatic. Don't you step into this box if you're not batting. Then my gang got tools. You could call them boy crap, man. This gang got rules, man. You better watch your passes. This ain't not.